This simple little project makes a great gift. It's a business card holder, and you can use any scraps of wood that you have laying around. Now I often end up with some thin stock. This happened to be some 1/4 inch material. I've got some 3/16 inch thick cherry, some bird's eye maple that's just too pretty to throw but too small to make any piece of furniture out of, a cut off piece of cherry. Well, what we want for making these very simple business card holders is some stock that's 5/8 of an inch thick and some stock that is about 3/16 of an inch thick. So we'll get started over at the planer by surface planing all our material to the thickness we need. We'll get started by setting my starting point. And now I'll just take a series of light passes, cleaning up some material from both sides of the stock. Even though the material is real thin, we still need to have a nice qualified edge to do accurate ripping operations. The joiner makes that real easy. Now all of our ripping operations are done at 5 degrees. So we'll tilt the saw blade over, and you'll notice that I do not have a zero clearance insert plate in the table saw. It's a surefire way of ruining a good carbide tip saw blade. Now I'll set my rip fence to about 13/16, maybe 7/8 of an inch for my first ripping operation. Now what we're actually going to do is be making the bottom portion of the business card holder. So we've got our stock that's approximately a 1/2 inch thick, and we're going to rip it a little bit wider than 3/4 at this point, putting that 5-degree bevel along one edge. Now I want the two opposing faces to be at that same angle. So the narrow side of the bevel that I've already got goes down against the table surface, and then the beveled edge goes against my rip fence. Now I'll just pass it over a second time. I am going to adjust my rip fence over so that I end up with a piece that's about 3/4 of an inch wide. Now after the ripping operation, you'll have this surface beveled at 5 and this surface beveled at 5. Top and bottom are parallel and the two sides are parallel. It's roughly a 1/2 inch thick and roughly 3/4 of an inch wide. Now working with the thin material, we need to have two strips cut exactly the same way, beveled at 5 degrees on both edges. Now one of them will be 5/8 of an inch wide. That'll be toward the front edge, and that'll create a lip to keep the business cards from slipping off. The other piece will be 2 9/16 of an inch wide, and that'll give the business card something to lean against. Same ripping operation, same techniques. Now at this point I've got enough pieces to make up 4 business card holders. I've got 2 bases, a number of fronts, and a number of backs. I'll just mix and match some different species of wood to get something attractive. Assembly is incredibly easy. We're going to use some tape and glue. Now make sure before you glue them together that you've got all the bevels going the right way. You'll notice here along the bottom it's one smooth flat surface. That way you know you've got your bevels going the right way. And then we'll just lay out some tape, set these on there, apply some glue, and we'll let them dry. Now don't get carried away with the glue. This is only a business card holder. You don't need to treat it like you're gluing together a piece of furniture. Now I'm going to slide this back and forth a little bit. That'll help disperse some of the glue. Pull up a piece of tape, and I'll repeat the same on the front edge. Now after you get the glue applied, slide them back and forth a little bit for that glue to stick a little. and then just bring your tape up on the front. The tape's only there to help keep things from sliding back and forth this way. The glue itself is actually holding everything together if you didn't get too carried away with the glue. Make sure your bottoms are flush, and then just set it aside to dry. That's all it's really going to take. After the glue's had a chance to dry, take some fine sandpaper, knock off the sharp edges and detail them up a little bit. Being so small, it certainly doesn't require a lot of effort to sand them up. After you get all done with your finish sanding, apply your favorite finish. Shellac, tung oil, varnish, polyurethane, whatever you have on hand. But as you can see, it makes for a nice little gift item, or perhaps something just to dress up your very own desk.